All right, welcome to Cleveland Business Live, episode 7. I'm so excited to have Natalia Jelovic on with us today. And Natalia is the creative director and president of Moxie Studios, which is a branding company, you would say, right, Natalia?
Okay. Branding, creative services, yeah.
Welcome. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited.
Absolutely. So just a little bit of background on how I know Natalia. I don't know if you remember, because we didn't talk about this as we were getting ready, but you were selling your condo by owner. Mm-hmm. And of course, I wanted that listing.
Yeah.
And so we met, and I was just blown away how beautiful your condo was. Like the way, the design of everything, you had such a flair. And I think at that point, you were just back from New York City. And I was just, and then I think you showed me some of your work too. So I was like, I'm keeping your number. When I need branding work, I'm calling you. So, and I did, and you're my go-to girl. So Natalia, she does like our newsletters. She's done logos. She does like when we have invitations that we want to make look really nice, we have Natalia do them. So she just rocks. So I'm so excited to have you here. So tell us your story. Tell us your background.
Sure. So I went to New York City, studied communications design there, and ended up starting my career there. I started working there in advertising, and I had the opportunity to work with a lot of big brands like Nestle Purina, Van Cleef & Arpels, the Empire State Building. Some ladies will remember like Sally Hansen brand, like nail polish and things. So I really got a nice perspective there, and ended up moving back to Cleveland in 2010, and I've been working as a consultant for lots of different types of organizations in different industries. So I'd say I'm very adaptable. I've learned a lot and have like a really broad range of design methodologies that I use to grow brands and market them. So I opened Moxie Studios in 2016, and I continue to work with large organizations, but I also work with small businesses to grow their brands with the creative design and marketing services. So
I love it. And that's what we kind of want to focus on today, is just the importance of branding and, you know, the best ways to do it, especially now since we're all, you know, at home. Mm-hmm. So if you want to talk a little bit more about like, what do you like, just the benefits of continuing now?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's easy to just kind of assume that we have to tighten our belts and maybe marketing budgets go out the window. But what's really important right now is to stay at the forefront of consumers' minds. So your audience is still out there. They're still on social media. They're still opening their emails, and they need to hear from you because when all of this is over, hopefully soon, they're going to remember you as being the type of service or product that they need. So I think it's really important, especially now, to continue marketing while all your competitors are sleeping. So
yes. And so like what are some of the ways you recommend people doing that?
Yeah, I mean, there are so many different ways, and each client has different needs. So you kind of approach it from sort of a custom tailored approach. So like a service provider is going to have a different approach than somebody who sells products. So but just generally speaking, email marketing is really good. Just continuing to send emails about what's new, what products or services you continue to offer. Social media is great. Everyone's spending a lot of time there right now. So just putting out content is really great. And another thing that I'm kind of shifting the focus of my business to is video marketing. I think that it's a really concise way to get your message across in like a minute to a minute and a half. And in fact, I have a statistic here that 1,200% more shares on social media are generated by video than text and images alone. So people are just a lot more engaged with video, and especially now, it's a great it's a great thing to push and really explain what you're doing. And then another statistic here, using links to video and marketing emails leads to a 250% increase in click-through rates.
You said in video and marketing, or I'm sorry, video and email?
Yes. So
that's exactly what I was going to ask. Okay.
Yeah. So, you know, I'm sure you know, as a business person who's pushing HTML emails and that, sometimes we don't get the click-through rates that we want. I think the average is like maybe 15 to 20%. But if you have those links and those videos, people are just a lot more intrigued to learn what you have to say. So just having that link to that video a lot of times increases people's engagement.
And I mean, now you're talking about the link or the actual, like when people open up their email and the actual video is looking at them, where they could just click play.
That can be tricky because sometimes, you know, the filtering that's behind the scenes will like block those emails from coming through if they flag it with a video. So a lot of times you'll just have like a screenshot of that video, and then you'll click like play and it'll take you to a landing page where you can actually see that video. And ideally it would be a landing page with a call to action, more information, and a way to gather people's information so that you can follow up with them.
Right. And I mean, the landing page, you could always link in a lot of times with your website, right? I mean, that's okay. Yes. And you do that as well, right? You help people build websites.
That's right. Yeah. So everything from like user research, like all the preliminary research that goes into understanding your brand and your audience and how to strategically sort of position yourself and your content and all of that so that you have the most impact with the people you're trying to reach, to the actual design and development, and then to marketing the website and, you know, extending that to social media and everywhere else. So.
And I love how you brought up email too, because it's like, I think a lot of people forget that email is still a good way to stay in touch. I mean, how often do you think is too often to send to your people?
It really depends, but you know, with marketing automation today, you have an email go out, let's say once a week, and if you have people who have been engaged, who have clicked on that, entered their information, then you have like your nurturing techniques where, you know, maybe twice a week they get an email like reminding them about that thing that they took interest in, or here's a new offer based on your interest in this. So it really depends on the customer, but I would recommend at least once a week, you know, giving an update, a newsletter or something like that would be great. Just reaching out. It doesn't have to be like this huge, robust, content heavy thing. I think it's good just, again, to stay at the forefront of people's minds and just reach out. So.
Okay, I love it. And so then if people are out there and they're like, okay, we have you know, we want to do a refresh on our branding. We really want to, you know, just kind of repackage everything. What's the process like, and how do they get in touch with you to do that?
I think if you're trying to rebrand or start a new brand, what we would do is sit down with you, or in these times, get on the phone or maybe on a Zoom call or something, and just talk about what your goals are, what your vision is. Usually we'll ask a lot of questions, maybe provide you with a questionnaire about what your goals are, who your audience is, what appeals to you and your business, maybe some other competitors that you feel are doing it the right way or the wrong way. We really try and understand, you know, who you are as a company before we develop that brand. And then we'll start from, you know, doing a few initial logo designs and developing the color palette and all of those things. And depending on your budget, we may go as far as creating like a brand guide so that you have like the tools and information you need to utilize that brand that's been developed in the appropriate way. So
I love it, because I do that. I mean, I'll you know, I just like I love the way this is done. You know, I got something the other day from like Jessica Simpson. I was like, I love this. Can you do this for me? Yeah. So I mean, you're so awesome about like recreating and like giving it a little twist of our brand too. So that's awesome. And what's the best way? Actually, put your number and a link to your Moxie Facebook page in the comments. And for anybody who shares this post today, you'll get 10% off of any design work, right? Or any project you make.
Yes, that's correct.
Yay! So go ahead and share that and, do something good for your brand. You're going to love it. And before we go, Natalia, I just wanted to ask you a couple of just rapid fire questions.
Mm-hmm.
What would be one word that you would use to describe this pandemic?
I would say challenging. But who doesn't appreciate a good challenge sometimes?
I think it's boring if things were easy.
Yeah.
We don't want to
think outside of the box. And so I try and be optimistic. And I think I mentioned that I'm pretty adaptable. So I see opportunity in everything. So
I agree. I love that about you. And so, let's see, if you could quarantine with any famous person, who would it be?
I think I might have to say, I'm a fan of Leonardo DiCaprio.
All right. I love it. We've had some people say Jesus and the president, but I always go to I
don't know. I need low pressure right now. So maybe somebody who's interesting and so.
Yeah, and really good looking. Leo is very good looking. I call him Leo, by the way.
Yeah.
What is the first thing you're going to do when we get back to normal?
Oh, I think I'm going to get out there and start networking. That was a goal I had set for myself for this year. At the beginning of the year, I really wanted to get out there and make more personal connections, and I think that's really important. You're doing that despite all of this. You're finding a way to keep it going. Great. So I appreciate that a lot.
Me too. And so what would be the biggest lesson that you've learned throughout this, or like a big piece of advice you could leave everybody with?
I would say just use this opportunity to create some good in your own life, to see the best in people. And, I know it's really hard times in business, personally and otherwise, but we're all struggling right now. So I would say just do the best that you can and use your time wisely, because it's going to be over and we have to be ready to roll.
Yes, I love it. Yeah. Don't try to get back in the groove. Try to stay in some kind of groove, even though it's not a normal groove. Exactly. I love it. Thank you so much for being on, Natalia. You're the best. And again, her contact information is in the comments if anybody needs anything. And everybody have a good rest of the day.
Okay. Thank you.